This podcast brought to you by our goodwill and time.
Want to get involved?
Share this podcast with your friends.
Your neighbor.
Get involved and join us around the table. You may find more details in the show notes.
Well, on with the show. Welcome back to a new episode of Hats and Rats. I am Dominic Kotze, and joining me today is...
Chris Prinsloo and the jolly cast of Mervin's Marauders.
You're going with Marauders?
Yes, we are not like in a bad way, not like bandit marauders, but like marauders who forge into unknown places and gain lots of treasure from people who previously had the treasure.
It
Not
sounds
bandits.
a lot like a privateer.
Yes, and privateering is legal, and I have a document that says I am entitled to all the figs which we are picking up. It may be just a note that says I have given myself permission to do these things.
I've got several questions, but I'm going to, for the sake of brevity, leave them. Mariska, how are you? Still okay? You're probably not. You're not on a mic, but cool.
Are we still okay? Good.
Fantastic. Cool. So, where we left off last week... Wait, no, my brain is still reeling from the war crimes of our messages.
There were no war crimes. We just stop. Just no.
No, anyway.
No.
Okay, so I hope... So it's been about 2 weeks, and we actually have been... Yeah, we've been building up a bit of a backlog, so some time has passed since our last episode. Here's my question to you. Do you remember roughly where we were?
I can hardly forget what happened last time. So the party encountered a lone goblin spying on them, chased him down, and instead of chasing him, Mervin was just like, poop, cast sleep, goblin fell over.
That was a really good move. It uses one of the parts of sleep I really enjoy, is the fact that you can point the center point, but it's got a radius.
Yes. And you can't fail sleep. Like, as long as I know roughly how much HP something has,
Yeah.
I can hit them with sleep every time and it will work.
And I sometimes I like, at least the parties I play with in general, I like actually giving that information sequentially to them as they fight the creature, so that they can... It's a little bit of metagaming, but at some point the character will know how likely something is to succeed. A goblin is easy in this case.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare scenario for us because I've got a bit of a memory when it comes to creature statistics, but I try to imagine what the player, the character would be doing instead of just metagaming it.
You're one of the people that can wonderfully suspend your disbelief. So,
I just lied to myself. It's amazing.
Lying to yourself, the game, now available in stores.
Yes.
Wait, isn't that Monopoly? Anyways.
It's pretend you're having a good time, the game.
Pretend you're not losing friends and alienating family members. Right, so...
Okay, but we cast sleep.
Yes, you cast sleep and you captured a goblin. This poor bastard. You caught him and you turned him to a Nilbog.
We might have given him a few suggestions on... We essentially gave the goblin a makeover. Like, we were like, goblin, your I don't know, is that a loincloth? It's drab.
Have some fancy hat.
Your club isn't good. Just leave all of these drab things behind and enjoy life. Just embrace it. Yes. We gave him a nice get up with like copper and iron things, which we traded from.
Oh my goodness,
the kobolds.
Yeah, it's
for a lot of.
And he runs off into the goblin side of the Sun, the Citadel.
And with thunder booms across the citadel.
Because here's the thing, Nilbogs are actually a part of the goblinoid lore. If a goblinoid host grows big enough, well, large enough, a Nilbog will naturally spawn unless someone makes a Nilbog. It's sort of a remnant of their dead god, essentially. That's roughly what the Nilbog is. It's a
Yeah.
trickster.
He runs
small,
around, he causes chaos. It's
and he
not,
kills people.
it's like not mean-spirited, but people just die. And I mean, it's funny.
Yes.
Death is funny.
So here's the thing about the Nilbog is that if your party is lucky and this Goblin with host does not have a Nilbog, then the chances of your little buddy going off and surviving are quite a bit higher, even though he might have been captured by enemy forces. On top of that, Nilbogs, especially in a Goblin with host as small as this one you're most likely encountering, can cause trouble.
But they're almost untouchable in a sense.
Yeah.
Like because if you
hurt the Nilbog, you actually risk an actual Nilbog showing up.
and you also risk the displeasure of the goblin dead god.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah,
And then the Nilbog
yeah.
shows up, and then he inhabits the goblin. And an actual Nilbog isn't. I want to say it feels almost as undefeatable as Taresk, but it's been a while since I've read his rules.
But he effectively just can't die.
Yeah.
Like even if you kill him, it doesn't
comes
matter
back.
unless you use a wish, I believe. Even if you use a wish.
I think Wish might take care of him, but no, they are, and he can teleport around. Oh no, it's nasty. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it was a kind of an inspired move, and then we spent most of the game leveling up.
It was good. I had a good time leveling up.
The party spends another night in the goblin den. Not the goblin den, the kobold den. And Meepo is sort of skulking about. He's unsure where to go to next. And your party now has the choice. Your party has a choice to go forward. You can go and you've basically bartered with Yurstel already and gained the key from her. You offered her quite a bit of gold and she gave you some shiny things for the Nilbog and the key, which was initially part of the reward for returning their dragon.
To be fair, I did miss that was a sneaky move. We've essentially paid her for part of our reward now.
Okay, it's not really that sneaky. It's more a thing of the kobolds. They're not exactly big brain. The kobolds in this dungeon, they want to serve the dragon and they want the dragon back, but the gold was in front of them right now and they don't know what the key does. It was just shiny to them.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but anyway, the thing is there are other things they can still give you. There are other rewards they can still offer
I'm
you.
sure they'll... Let's take this key and
Right.
head into the depths of the dungeon, because I remember a door with a dragon mouth, and this key has a dragon carved into it.
Ooh, okay, so you want to go that direction.
Yeah, I mean, we almost got into it last time.
Oh yes, the tumbler with
Fibble.
the walking...
Yeah,
the
yeah.
block with the walking tumbler.
Which we missed with like one or two, must have been.
And then you fought that?
Not a rat.
You fought a rat.
We did not fight a rat.
You fought a rat.
We squished a rat.
You fought... Okay, fair enough. You squished a rat.
we should actually be called Mervin's pest exterminators now.
Hats and rats. Call 555. So, you're going to try and go to that dragon door.
Yes, we
Okay.
would like to inspect the door. At least check if the key fits. If it doesn't fit, we'll head back deeper into the dungeon. But I mean, if it works,
Now, before we head out, you're back trading a little bit in the dungeon, so let's get some admin going.
admin.
What is your marching order moving towards this?
Okay, as usual, Merri will be taking the front, with Mervin's marching in the middle and Fibble bringing up the rear.
Okay, so you've got fighter, wizard, ranger. Rogue.
To be fair, it's more like fighter, crazy man that whacks things and kills people with fire, and rogue.
Fair enough.
Mervin is not a wizard. I hesitate to call him that.
You backtrade a little bit through the common hall of the kobolds, and all the way through the room where you found the dragon, the empty dragon cell, and where you encountered Meepo initially. All of this is still terrain you've been through before, so there's no checks needed. You go through the short hallway where you fought the methods, and then back into the circular tower where
We fought the undead.
the undead. There are skeletons lying around, and now decomposing goblins, which were there before you arrived.
We can't go into a room without something trying to kill us.
It is fair
It's
enough.
like this is a dungeon filled with enemies who want to oppose us at our every move.
Maybe.
But that would be implausible.
But not unlikely.
Not unlikely.
Right, so what happens next, though, is that from that circular tower room, there are 3 exits. The
Yes.
exit you just came in through. To the east, there is a door that's, at this point, open, where Twigblights came through, where you, in the previous, day.
Yes.
And it also leads to the landing, which leads to the outside world.
Really important that door not be closed permanently. We'd like to get out of here one day.
Yes. And then there is the room you are in now. You enter this room where where you want to try the key. The masonry wall of this 20-foot wide hall are in poor repair. The far end has collapsed, filling the southern section with rubble. The western wall is in much better shape than the other walls, and it holds a stone door with a rearing dragon carved in relief on it. The door has a single keyhole, situated in the rearing dragon's open mouth.
Okay, well, as usual, Fibble would love to volunteer to open this door because, of course, the rest of the party is just incompetent and he's really into being good at opening doors. So Mervin hands him the key and he's like, Fibble, do your thing, do the door.
He takes the key.
He takes the key and he puts it into the keyhole. Does anything happen?
It slots in. Nothing really happens. And then you start turning it.
If nothing happens, yes, after a bit of staring nervously at the big dragon carved into the door, Fibble will then start turning the key, cautiously.
You cautiously turn the key, and as you can feel the tumblers latching into place, and it go click. The relief door splits in the middle and opens to the sides as a seemingly mechanical magical machine pulls the doors open, and a room beyond it draws into view. It is dark. What is your light situation?
So Merri can't actually see in the dark, we discovered last. So she's walking around with a little candle. It should cast about, I believe, 20 foot of bright light.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So yeah, Merri, you've got about 20 feet, which I will quickly draw around you.
But the other guys can both see in the dark.
Yeah. 20 feet radius or total? It was radius.
20 foot, yeah.
Cool. So you have quite a bit of light. So yeah, the room opens up in front of you, and Merri, from your point of view, as the door opens, a hissing noise and a puff of dust around the door indicate that the chamber beyond has been sealed for ages. Dust, long undisturbed, covers every surface in this large gallery. The air here is stale. 3 alcoves are on the north wall, and 1 is on the south wall.
Okay, well, Mervin looks around. He's like, oh, well, this is an interesting situation. It seems the dragon will have to wait. And he mumbles to himself and he walks over to the first alcove on the north side.
Walking that far in, now that someone has fully stepped into the room, Mervin sees the alcove, or goes and stands in front of this alcove and inspects it. You notice a few things. Each alcove contains a dust-covered stone pedestal with a fist-sized crystalline globe resting on it. The globes in the northern alcoves, of which you are standing in front of one right now, are cracked and dark. But the globe in the southern alcove glows with a soft blue light. Faint tinkling noises issue from it.
Well, I mean, Mervin's not really interested in obviously dangerous things.
Apologies to interrupt. There's one last thing on the western wall. There is also a door.
Okay, now we'll leave the door situation. I think Merri will guard the door, in case of anything coming through it on the other side, perhaps. Just in case anything dangerous attacks us from the rear.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Mervin would like to do. Can you do like an Arcana check on these broken globes to try and figure out what they were at the point?
The broken globes?
Yes.
Or Arcana check, you say?
Is there anything he can discern from them, or are they just useless rocks? Okay, that is a 14 plus 4 for an 18 total.
And proficiency Arcana?
Yes.
Okay, you can definitely tell that these cracked globes were magical. You can definitely tell that the globe in the south part of this chamber is obviously still working, but you have no idea what their intent was. You don't. Do you have detect magic?
Yeah, he has it as a ritual.
If you cast detect magic, I can tell you the type of magic.
Okay. Well, before we get into any of that wasteful faffing about, let's have Fibble just approach the globe and maybe, look at it.
Oh, God. Okay. Fibble, did you just step into 5 feet of that globe?
No. Yes.
Okay, everything stops.
Okay.
Right, so brooding music starts to play through the entire area. Distant instruments, seeming from an orchestra long forgotten, drift into the room from seemingly the cracks on the wall. And everyone's mood seems to drop suddenly. Everyone in this party. Let me just quickly check. Everyone can hear the music. Yep. So everyone in the party, please make a wisdom saving throw.
Damn it,
Whoop.
Fibble, getting us into trouble. Oh,
It's Whale Song.
of course it's Wild Song. What else would it be?
Cool, so give
Wisdom
us
save.
Wisdom save.
For Mervin is a 13 plus 1 for
14.
a 14 total. Then we have up next Merri at a plus 1. She rolls a 17 plus 1.
Nice.
18 total. And then Fibble at a minus 1 for wisdom. He rolls a 6. So it's a 5 total. He approached the thing. I mean, he should pay.
So everyone except Merri are affected. The DC was 15. Right. So Merri, you look into this room and you notice Mervin and Fibble clutch their heads for a second as this disturbing music carries through the room. You feel something in your stomach like churn, that you fight it back, and you're fine. Game terms, you're immune to this musical spell for the next 24 hours. However, your party members are not as lucky. Both these characters are now charmed. And while they're charmed, they have to both take the dash action all the way to area 3, back to the circular room.
Okay.
So, you run all the way back to the circular room.
Well, they do.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you want to handle this? Do you want me to handle this in combat sequence?
Is there any combat necessity things that we need to handle? Because otherwise it's going to be
it's more for timing. If you want to do the dash action in 6 seconds. So
let's just assume they run back.
So yeah, you run all the way back to area 3, but area 3 is the Grumbling Courtyard. So you're going to run directly into the trap. But I think you jammed the trap.
We jammed the trap.
You lucky bastard. Merri, do you follow them?
Merri is most confused about this.
They run out screaming. Ah!
And as a natural instinct is to protect her friends or well-paying employers, in this case. She would like to enter the room and see if she can notice anything.
Oh, yeah, she's immune.
She's immune, so...
Yes. You walk in and you notice the music is basically coming from this glowing globe. And it's still playing.
Okay, as she isn't a magic user, she can't do anything about this. So she will go to the rest of the party.
Okay.
What do they tell her? Have they recovered, or are they just cowering on the floor?
Merri, you walk out into the terrace of Area 3, which is where you entered the dungeon. It steps out into it's kind of open air. You look up and you see a faint bit of sunlight coming from the crevasses crack in the earth. And in front of you, across the courtyard, on the far side, on the steps leading to the landing, leading to the freaking rope going all the way up to the surface, sits Fibble and Mervin.
Mervin, yes.
And they both seem a little shocked and out of breath, but they seem fine. However, the music still carries faint notes into this direction. They seem a bit uncomfortable. They both know that they can't really get closer right now unless they get compelled again to run away.
Okay, so just out of game terms, they can't go back into that room.
They're
now.
currently charmed, and until the effect only stops if they leave past area 3. So if they try to get closer, they're already compelled. They'll have to make the save again to see if they can get closer.
Cool. Let's get in.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
Merri walks up to them and she stares at Mervin. She's like, Mervin, what happened to that brave dwarf that set out from that town over there whose name we have forgotten since, because it's not really important to the story. This gets back to the previous episode we just did where someone asked what happened.
I just edited it. It's accursed.
Anyway, Oakhurst.
No. Gonna have such a headache. Yes. Anyway.
I really love the town of Oakhurst. That brave dwarf that set out from Oakhurst, that amazing metropolis teeming with life and potential. Where's your bravery?
Can I have Mervin give her a strange eye, like a lifted eyebrow?
Is he going to try and, I don't know, provoke her in some manner?
No, I'm joking.
Whale noises.
Anyway, yes.
Okay. So she essentially names and shames him, which forces him to try and get back in again.
Okay.
So
he walks into the circular area.
yes. Fibble is not getting paid enough, so he'll stay outside. But Mervin definitely will.
Make another wisdom save as the music drifts into this area.
That's a 15.
And Mervin, you are now
14 plus
immune
1. Okay.
to the music because you rolled a 15. This a cacophony of discord of an old orchestra seems to carry all the way to this part of the dungeon, and you know now, without a doubt, it's coming from that glowing orb.
Okay. So with the effect dispelled, Merri waves at Fibble and tells him to stay safe, and then they head back into the room. Mervin would then like to inspect this orb.
The orb itself is not super remarkable. It seems exactly the same to the cracked orbs you inspected previously. However, this one is glowing with that faint blue light. Other than that, it doesn't seem to be. There's no levers. No, it's nothing. It's just
a
an orb
magic
on
item.
a
Okay.
pedestal.
Cool. He would then like to ritual cast detect magic.
Okay. You spend a few minutes in this cacophony, so it takes a bit longer than you thought. Ritual casting takes how long?
10 minutes plus the time it would normally take to cast the action.
Cool. Right. So, in the 10 minutes since you're standing next to it, it seems it's almost like a recording restarts. The orb goes, well, as it starts playing again, and you realize, number one, it activates when someone gets close. Number two, it's quite delicate. If you drop it, it will crack and break, and that will stop the magic. And it is, if I'm not mistaken, it's conjuration magic. What did you roll for? Okay, give me an Arcana check at advantage because of the detect magic, because the item doesn't really have a school of magic. I just want to know how much I can read to you.
Okay, no worries.
But do it at advantage, please.
All right.
So yeah.
We shall have Arcana check at +4. That is natural 1, so not that
Not
dice.
that one. No, please not. That's much better.
That's 17.
17. Okay, I can give you the following. The globe is. You also know that. Okay, standing next to it activates it. It's a charm effect.
Enchantment.
Yeah, so it's enchantment. And if you were to touch it, there would be an even higher saving throw. Right, and it'll be the same effect. So its effect is just more potent if you physically touch it. But other than that, it doesn't do anything special. It's more of a trap. It might have been involved
It's like a intruder alarm,
Yes.
just to keep everyone away
It might
from it.
actually have been involved in a ritual in the past. This along with the other globes seems like it was part of almost like a almost like a burial ritual of sorts, but this was ages past.
Okay. With the other guys having disappeared, Fibble gets a bit nervous because some time has passed, so he would like to try and get back into the dungeon. So let me just roll a wisdom save for him. That's a 19 -1.
And as you step into the circular space, right there, into the broken tower, you hear the music, but you fight the urge to run, and you can hear the music restarting. Why is someone standing next to it again? As Mervin starts his investigation. Yes. And roll for initiative.
Time
taking the 10 minutes, 10 minutes to ritual cast in a dangerous location will give you a random encounter. Everyone stops right where they are as something comes around the corner.
But what corner, though?
Right, cool. Please open your combat tracker.
Okay, combat tracker is open.
And I've got someone that has a bone to pick with you. Fibble, as you enter the tower, as you enter this circular, the circular space of this destroyed tower,
some twig blights appear.
The door leading, leading towards the kobold encampment,
the northwest,
creaks open. Fibble, you look over and half expecting, I don't know what you might be expecting, maybe
but a kobold.
A kobold.
Yeah.
It opens up, and you see a creature standing there.
Oh no. Oh no.
Armored, red tinted skin, sharp ears, sharp brows. And
that's a hobgoblin.
A very intelligent looking face peers back at you. And it slowly draws its sword. Right, cool.
So just a note, the adventure of the short people has finally ended. We finally have a full-length character joining the fray.
Yep.
Fun times.
Initiative has been rolled. Merri, Fat Rabbit, Fibble Sticks, Hobgoblin, number 1, which is only 1, and then Mervin, 4th. Now, this is not that bad, but please consider the following. Chris, please explain to me where your characters all are.
Well,
I think the correct term you're looking for is all over the place.
Yes. So we've got Mervin and Merri in the room with the glowing orb and the creepy music. And between them and Merri, there's about one entire room. And then Merri and the Hobgoblin are in the big circular room. But, I mean, if the Hobgoblin goes first, he can probably cut Fibble off from getting to his friends.
Probably, but luckily...
So this will all come down to the initiative, which has turned out in her favor.
Yes, Merri, you're up first, but...
Okay, Merri doesn't know of anything, so she can't take it.
Okay, no, she does, because I'm going to preface the combat with the following. The Hobgoblin walks through the door, sees Fibble, and then the Hobgoblin is going to look over at you and go, "Ah, freaking halfling."
Okay, but there are 2 walls and about 50 feet between them. Can I make a perception roll?
And now we're going to please roll a perception roll for Merri and for Mervin, just to see if they take a surprise round or not.
Okay, so Merri can actually perceive things. She's got a +3. Ooh, and we've got a 17 +3. That is a 20.
He wasn't trying to be stealthy. That would be a medium roll. An unnatural 20 will do it.
That'll do it.
Merri, you hear the voice of something gruff, something large in the previous room. Well, 2 rooms away.
Okay, but let's see if... And Mervin is looking at that orb real intently.
Mervin, you take a surprise round.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, here we go. Merri, you're up.
Okay, so Merri is confused more than anything else. I mean, there shouldn't be anything in this part of the dungeon.
No, there shouldn't.
So she'll just casually walk over to the door and peer out. Not dashing, just walking to the door and looking. She sees the Hobgoblin. She sees Fibble. The Hobgoblin is armed and obviously a goblin.
Yep.
But he's just out of reach of her little candle. So if she makes an attack, it will be at disadvantage.
Yes, it will be... it's not a nice situation.
Okay, so instead of actually using an action, she will prepare an action to hold. And if the Hobgoblin would come close enough, she will hit him with her greatsword.
Cool.
Long sword.
I was just about to say that she's great and she's got a sword. It's not
Merri the Great Sword. That'll be a nice nickname. Merri the Great Sword Fat Rabbit.
Man. Okay, cool. So Merri holds her action.
The Great Sword Fat Rabbit.
Cool. Moving on. Fibble. You
Sword
just walked into this, defended yourself against the music. You're okay, but this hobgoblin that just drew a sword on you. What do you do?
Okay, so he's got two options right now. And option one, as tempting as it might be, to just...
Leg it.
Yes. Well, no, I would have said, as tempting as it would be, to use his one remaining bolt for his hand crossbow
Just you're by the door. Just turn around and go.
to shoot at the hobgoblin.
Leave the party for themselves.
No, he's going to run past Merri.
Being paid enough.
Yes, but he'd like to be paid
At all.
at all.
Oh, he's not. Oh,
He hasn't been paid yet. Mervin keeps the gold because otherwise the mercenaries would take the gold and run. That's what they... I mean, well...
Well, we'll get into the
Fibble,
semantics later.
yeah.
Anyway,
Merri's probably not so much. So...
Fibble, what's your action?
Okay, but Fibble has leveled up and he's a rogue.
Yes.
So he would like to use his cunning action for that free dash, which gives him a free bonus action, which
Yes.
he can use to dash. So he's going to dash.
Okay.
And he's going to shoot. He has 0 bolts. Of course he does. Okay.
Point and a whiff.
Okay, he has 2 daggers. He is going to throw
One dagger.
one well, yeah, no, he has a dagger.
Fibble. It seems Fibble spent all his luck last time. that. Oh my goodness.
This is not good.
Does Fibble have a sword?
He has a sword and a dagger,
Good.
but
Lord.
it's not the best. 1, 2, 3. He is 4 away. If he walks over there, he can stab him and then use the cunning action to disengage, but then he can't move away. If he had 2 cunning actions, he could dash and disengage, but he can't, so he's just gonna dash around the corner.
Cool. So you're just gonna dash around the corner. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you.
And he's gonna start screaming his head off. Mervin!
Okay.
Mervin, there's a hobgoblin! Mervin!
Okay, Mervin is finally aware, but the surprise round will end after.
Yes.
Cool. And Merri, you just run and yell. Nothing else?
That's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, right. Next up, we've got Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin just strides over.
Probably short things. Come here. Turn my goblins against me, will you?
And he walks into the door, and Fat Rabbit, you get your attack of opportunity. Well, you get your pre-action.
Okay, so
As this Hobgoblin comes right close to you and comes in for a swing.
that's a real unfortunate thing he just mentioned about turning his goblins against him. I really hoped someone wouldn't notice, but let's try and end this. So, longsword, 2. Oof, that's not good. That's a 2 + 4, so Merri misses the hobgoblin.
Okay, cool. Right, and the Hobgoblin is going to take his action, which includes
Includes martial prowess.
martial advantage. Once per
Advantage,
turn, the
oof.
Hobgoblin can deal an extra 2d6 damage to a creature it hits with a weapon attack. If the creature is within 5 feet of an ally of the Hobgoblin that isn't incapacitated. But he can't do this because he's alone. So,
That's real useful.
only thing he has is he's got his longsword. And so longsword, it is going to be attack on Merri. Dun, 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 dun. Whew.
She's got the good... Yes.
That's a miss. And doesn't have multi-attack. No.
No.
But yeah, he
Okay.
swings and a miss. And that's his turn. Mervin, you take your surprise round. And then we're round 2. Merri, you're up.
Okay, so with the state as it stands, she doesn't have a lot of choices. We are going to take that long sword and we are going to stab that man. Or a tip. No, we are not. We
That's
are
a
going to
miss.
flail
11.
wildly at him.
You still don't know what the armor class is because you just rolled an 11.
7 + 4. Good job, Merri. You're the best. This is why you should never play a halfling fighter.
Hey, they're not that bad. Anyways, is Merri going to move?
She really can't afford to, no.
Fibble, you're up.
Okay, so Fibble, having recovered his nerve and having shouted at Mervin, is going to walk forwards.
Yes?
Then he is going to use his longsword.
Uh-huh.
Why does he have a longsword? No, that's Merri. Apologies.
Wrong person.
Yes, wrong sheet. Mervin, Fibble, come here. Okay, so he is going to use his short sword. He will
Okay.
attack the hobgoblin.
Ooh.
And he will miss. Which means he can't use his bonus action to use his dagger to inflict a second attack. So he will use his cunning action to disengage
And walk away.
and just step back. Just let Merri handle
Cunning
the big
actions.
man.
Hobgoblin next. Hobgoblin sees the shenanigans, but he's got his target. Merri, I hope you're ready for this.
She's ready.
Longsword attack on Merri. A critical hit. That's 20 on the die, 23 total. Your armor class is definitely hit, so that's going to be...
This is upsetting.
He's using it one-handed though, so it's 1d8.
Is he wielding a shield as well?
No, he's not.
Then why would he wield it one-handed?
Because he feels arrogant. You'll notice in a minute. So what happens is he hits you for
a lot.
a lot. That is...
Oh, we're going to be stuffing rocks back into Merri soon enough.
I just want to quickly see here. That is 1d8 plus 1 is 4. That's the 1. Roll again.
Okay, that's a bit more concerning. 10 damage.
Out of your total 22. You're not that bad yet.
And, I mean, she's a fighter. She does have second wind.
Okay, and
action
you
surge.
ask that about his attack, and you notice in his other hand he's got a longbow that he's been carrying around, but he's about to drop it and switch to both hands. Next up, Mervin.
Okay, so Mervin, having noticed that something is definitely wrong.
Hear the sounds of screaming from
1, 2,
a very
3,
shrill Fibble.
5. He walks over.
Yes.
He sees the hobgoblin. He sees Merri.
Yes.
He sees the freaking gnome cowering behind the halfling. What a sight it must be.
Yeah, filthy creatures. And dwarf. I'll slice you up.
And then he would like to just introduce the hobgoblin to the concept of a flaming head. So he will cast Firebolt at him for a 2 plus 4, and
It's a mess. The door slightly goes whoosh.
Fush.
Cool. Moving on to Merri.
Tell me, Dominic, have we had any successes thus far in combat? In 2 turns of combat, have we done anything at all?
There is good news, but no, you didn't.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. This is fine.
There has been an exchange of damage, though. You've taken.
Yeah,
some
we've taken damage. Yes, we have successfully been hit.
I actually like it in Fantasy Grounds. They show the wounds on my screen as green numbers.
They show it on mine as green as well, which I can't understand. I am very upset. But isn't it just to show the level of woundedness? Because as you take more damage, it changes color?
I think so, yeah. Hey, we've got a nod from our sound engineer. Yes, that's what
We
it does.
have learned a thing.
We've learned a thing.
Knowledge.
Knowledge! Right, cool. So, Merri, what do? You're in front of this hobgoblin. It does not seem to be very entertained by your presence. And it's going
He
for
can stuff it. We are going to hit him with a long sword.
He's trying to do the same. With a 3, a total of a 7 to hit will not get through his armor.
Okay, Merri is feeling desperate, so she's going to embrace this moment to use her action surge.
Okay.
So she will try and hit him again with another longsword. Finally, we get through. It's an 18 plus 2. That's a 22 to hit.
22, right.
Plus 4.
So what happens is you... Damage.
And it is 2 damage plus 4.
You wound it for 4. This stings. He's like...
Falsy. Get back.
Okay.
We give him a bit of the flat of the blade on the ass. Just a bit. Whap.
Fibble, you're up next.
Okay. Fibble, feeling suitably inspired by this great heroic deed, will walk forward.
You pay for that.
He's going to try and stab the hobgoblin for a 17.
That will hit. He's not currently wearing a shield. Please roll for damage.
Okay, and then he will 1d6 plus 3 piercing on the hobgoblin for
The hobgoblin drops to one knee. He's trying to defend himself as his longbow falls to the ground.
and then with his bonus action he will follow up with a thrust of his dagger.
With the dagger offhand. Oh, no bonuses, right? But yeah.
And it's a natural 20.
Critical hit. Fantastic, man. Okay, cool. So please roll for damage. Oh, wow.
Oh, 9.
Exceeds point by 8, dying. The hobgoblin falls unconscious and starts bleeding out. The battle ends.
With his freaking dagger, like the fighter flails 3 turns, just flailing at the hobgoblin, and Merri just walks up and just like pip and stabs him and he dies.
He's just like, oh, this is, oh yeah, oh, he's got a heart. You just put this here and he stops beating. Yeah, you just wiped this hobgoblin out and he collapses to the ground. And you notice that he was carrying He was carrying quite a bit of stuff, but let me just quickly add this to your encounter list.
He's dead, though, right?
Yeah, he's bleeding out. So unless you actually want to save him, he'll die in the next few seconds.
We might as well practice a bit of medicine. I mean,
Oh God!
it can't be that bad. Mervin, get the sack.
Right, he's going to do the medicine check.
Well, Fibble is right next to him, and I mean, he needs a bit of practice, and he's got a wonderful -1 on medicine.
Tell you what,
Okay.
doing this in combat rounds, if you take 6 seconds, in other words, a round, he'll take a check. Possible failure,
Yes.
possible success.
Yes.
But then you can have the two characters help each other. In other words, whoever's doing the check can do that advantage.
But
Why am I helping you?
I don't know. You really shouldn't.
Okay, it's an advantage roll again. Because if you fail it, actually, I think it also
Yeah,
inflicts a wound.
I
No, he bleeds out.
it's just we literally stuff some rocks into the wounds. Classic
you apply-
Mervin's Marauders.
You apply pressure to the wound. The only problem is that's correct, but
There's a hole on the other side as well.
yeah. You
Live, goblin, damn you!
and he just bleeds out.
No, Mervin!
Even with advantage, Fibble, why?
Fibble.
Okay.
Oh well. These things happen.
This has been an RN Games production. Dungeons and Dragons is owned by Wizards of the Coast. Fancy Grounds is owned by Smiteworks. Our audio engineer is Mariska Harmse.
All player characters are played by Chris Prinsloo. The Dungeon Master is played by Dominic Kotze. Follow us at Hats and Rats on Facebook. See you when the dice land next week.